All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for coming here. Hardworking HRD alumni are here with me on a Sunday afternoon. So first of all, I want you to introduce yourselves to us. Jasmine, you want to start?
Good evening, all. My name is Jasmine Marshall Downey, proud graduate of the HRD program and member
Ash?
of Team Blessed.
Team what?
Team Blessed.
Team Blessed.
Team Blessed. Okay, all right. Okay.
I will go next.
Ash?
So, good day, everyone. My name is Tasharna Thompson Eni. As Jasmine mentioned, I am also a proud graduate of the HRD program. And I'm happy to say I'm also the awardee of the Research Practicum Award as well.
Consultancy prize.
The other group award, the consultancy prize, and we will go into the other group award that we won. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Joan?
Hi, everyone. My name is Joan Powell Barnes. I am also a proud graduate of the MSc HRD program and also a team member of the Blessed team.
Okay. And Jilly?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jillian Gordon. I am blessed to be a member of the Blessed team, a proud graduate, of course, of not just MSc HRD program, but that of the University of the West Indies.
All right. Good. Mona campus. Mona campus.
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. And we're hoping that other members of the group will come, but we're starting nonetheless. We're talking to you guys because you're a very special group of persons. You managed to work successfully. This group comprised 7 persons, and every single person in the group graduated with distinction or with some sort of academic or co-curricular award. And that is a very unusual thing. So we actually wanted to talk to you about your group process. We have other people talking to us. Everybody has met Joan already, talking to us about how she studied her way to distinction. But we're interested today in the group process, how it is that a group of driven persons would have found each other and come together and stuck with it, and all of you are sharing the green leaves at the end. Because as you know, group work is one of the tools that the HRD program uses, and everybody, myself included, are often quite skeptical about the efficacy of group work, but you guys have shown that it can work, and so we wanted to talk about that today. So the first thing I want to know is, how was this group established? How did you guys find each other and come together?
Okay, Alameen. So I will start with that. So it started from Sophia Margon's class, Group Dynamics. She asked us to pick a number. So each pick a number. That was 1 and 2. So I guess everybody who picked the number 2 got the opportunity to be a group leader. So I picked a number 2, but not only that you got the opportunity like that, we had to on the spot tell the other students why they should join our group. So I went up like the others and I gave my speech and I said, well, what I can promise you that I'm going to give up my Sunday because I'm a Christian, but what I will promise you is that I'll give up any other time that I have, and also that you will get A's.
Oh,
I'll
wow.
promise you A's.
Okay.
And yes, and I remember Marshall is not here yet, but I remember picking Marshall to join our group because he was very outspoken and I was more of a reserved person. So I wanted people who were more outspoken in the group to compliment me because I was reserved, and really and truly I didn't want to be a group leader. I just wanted to stay in the back. So I picked somebody who was very vocal. And with any situation, you pick one man, and by the time you look, you have several females around you. So Marshall kind of basically pick others. And by the time by the time the whole activity finished, we had this group. I know Jasmine was one of the last member to join the group. And I said, Jasmine, do you want to join my group? And because Jasmine is very feisty. She's a feisty one in her group and keep the group alive. She like, her face was like, and I said, what? You don't want to join my group? I said, come and join my group. You're going to get A's. And we just recorded her name. And that's how the Blessed Inc. group started. And here we are. Yeah.
You said Michelle is missing. Who else is missing? Cherise, who else?
Actually, Pashik, Cherise is not an original member of the group.
Mm-hmm.
She did some class with us and we work well together, and we decided that she will be a member. We're not taking her out even when she finished the other courses. She still stayed with us.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And Pashik and Michelle, those are the three persons.
Chanil.
Okay, all right, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how the group was established. Anybody else want to tell us why they chose to go with Tashana? Jill, why did you choose to be in this group? Was it the temptation of A's?
Well, I really can't remember the moment, to be honest with you, but naturally it would be a temptation because I always believe in flying high.
Of course.
And that would be an incentive, whichever way it is taken.
Okay.
Olivine, I think I picked Jillian because I think when she introduces herself, she mentioned that she worked at UWI, and I thought that would be a good resource to have on it.
That is actually a good thing. You have an organizational contact. Yes, that is a good reason too. So you guys were strategic and intentional in fitting out your group. Why did you join this group, Joan?
Okay, so Michelle is the first person that I met. I met Michelle when I attended the orientation. Okay. And prior to starting the classes, I was having some discussion with Michelle, letting Michelle know that I am all the way from Portland and so on and so forth. So he was actually my first classmate. So when we actually started classes, I said to Michelle, whichever group that you will be in, I would like to be a part of that group. So that's how I ended up in that group.
And Jazz, what about you?
Well, I just sat there just waiting because I am really and truly an introvert. So I'm very reserved. So when Tashana said, come and join the group, I promise you to get A's, I am like, that sounds like a winning team. That sounds like a winning team. And I know that I didn't have a lot of time to waste.
Yes.
Because I had strategized in my life that I have a small window to do this master's. And also, I am a high achiever, so I know I want some A's. Mm-hmm. So when she said that, I was just there, thinking that, okay, this sounds like a good plan. So I said, okay, fine, I'm okay.
All right.
And
so
I became a part of, I think, in my humble opinion, one of the best teams.
Okay, no, well, I think so too. The results speak for themselves, But it's clear then that you had some sort of strategy in mind. Group had a sort of strategy in mind. Certainly the people who formed the group, Tashana and Michelle, had a sort of strategy. So having got the people together, how did you share the necessary work? And what roles did you play in the group? I know that you might have somebody who's a gatekeeper, somebody who is an organizer, getting the information, that sort of thing. What roles did each of you play? Or did you not share it up like that?
We, starting out, so we didn't know of each other's strengths and weaknesses. So it was kind of difficult for us to really start distributing tasks based on individual strengths. So what I did as the group leader, and I throw it out to get their feedback because it wasn't about me being a group leader, it was about me being a part of the team and letting everybody feel included and feel as if, okay, it's not Tashana, the group leader, it's the team. So it's bouncing ideas off and not just coming with ideas and say, this is what we are going to do. So for example, we will get a particular topic or assignment, and I would ask everybody to come with their ideas, come with their it slipped me now, just come with their structure, like how would you want to approach it, right? Do that, come, let me see your approach, I will come with my approach, and we look at it and we combine it together. Come with your outline, that's the word I'm looking for. Come with your outline, because I want everybody to know that they're responsible for their work, and it's not going to be a case where you have anybody freeloading on anyone, because we all busy adults working and we need to get it done. Come with your outline, let me see it, and we work through it. And basically that's what we did about for the 4-2 assignments team. You can back me up if I'm missing anything. So that was our approach for the first 2 assignments. And after that, you will realize that the strengths of each other started coming out. And what I did, I identified that. So I would say Pashik, Joan, Jazz, they write beautifully. They can write. When they write stories, like it flows when they write. Michelle was the person who checked our references. If you hand in your assignment and Michelle call you, not hand it into the lecturer, like combine it and we put it out there, and Michelle, is Michelle time to review, and he called you, you know that you didn't reference something properly. He's going to say, where you get that from? I didn't see, I don't find the book, you didn't reference it properly, you need to look back at it. He's very meticulous. Jilly was the resourceful one. She did her research, she come as well. So everybody by that point, Pashik would give her anything to present at last minute. And she would deliver like she practiced, and she go over that document for days. You will never know. For me, it was important to identify that and to get everybody included. So we did that for the end of first year going into second year. When we enter second year, we realized, okay, Tasharna, because I didn't want the group to just be for just assignments. I want life lessons to come from it. So what I said, guys, you will all get the opportunity to lead on an assignment. So I'll assign group leaders for each assignment. I'll be the overall group leader, but each assignment will have a group leader. And the team, it really worked well for us. They take the lead. We participated, we did our part, and then we combine it, look it over. Each person have their part in terms of how we review the documents, what we look for, who look for grammar, like a Joan, a teacher in the group. She's our grammarian. And as I mentioned, Michelle, Chanel was just the one of the techie, we'll say, on the team. So she will do a lot of that stuff for us as well. Who am I missing?
You're missing Tasharno, who was also our techie person.
Yeah.
I know, I don't know.
Yes.
And in terms of our presentation, the aesthetics, everything,
Yeah.
And we learned a lot from her in that regard.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And that's how it works for us. We were a very disciplined group, and I can't remember we have to be talking to anyone about coming out a group meeting or delivering the work. I remember one time, Michelle, I said, Michelle is in a group, but Michelle will deliver his work. Michelle likes to work by himself, because sometimes we'll pair two persons to work together, and Michelle would just always end up by himself or always delivering his piece. And I would say to him, Michelle, you need to work together as a team. You were assigned with X. You deliver your part, and that is good, but it is incomplete. So you need to ensure that both parts are coming in at the same time. So I was forcing him to learn how to work within a group how to communicate with the other party and ensure that everybody's on the same page and it's, oh, I deliver my piece and I'm done. No, it's not done. It's not. We are a team and we ensure that that is enforced from the beginning all the way to the end. We leave nobody behind. We left nobody off any project. If somebody can't, something is happening in their personal life or something, we're pulling each other up. We're pulling each other. We're not leaving nobody behind. We started together and we all graduated together.
Okay, well, you've
And
answered
I must back you up there, Tashana. I remember in the group meetings, you'll always say that regardless of what happened, because we went through the entire gamut of group dynamics. We went through the forming, the storming, but one thing I can say, the performing was never, ever left out. We always deliver. We always deliver. And then we have Pashik, who is always, so we need an A, we need an A. We have to get an A in this. And she was that kind of person who is going to push us to say, guys, remember, we need to get the A, we need to get the A. Remember, we need to get the A, because she was always about the A. And so I think all of us bought into the fixity of purpose, and we were determined that every single member must graduate, and not just graduate, but graduate with something behind our names, because we are indeed the group.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. I see Michelle joining us now, so we'll soon hear from
Hi,
you.
Michelle.
Hi, sorry to be late. I had some things doing. Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. And as Michelle mentioned, that based on his profession, sometime he will join our meeting from the road, on the road, and we'll say, Michelle, focus on what you're doing, man. We're good. We have you. You're sending your thing already. We're good.
Okay, all right. But as I said, I'm glad you guys spoke a lot about a lot of things, because one of the questions I wanted to know was how you kept each other on task, on point, you know, how you made each other accountable to the group. But you said you never had that. So then I will ask the question in another way. How did you make yourself accountable to the group? How did you never falter in allowing your life, because I know, for instance, that Joan is a mother, you know, she has full-time work. I know you have a job. So we know that people have other things to do. Jazz was saying earlier that she didn't have time to waste. So how did you make the group a priority? How did you do that?
I don't think we had a choice. And I think the maturity, I don't think we had a choice, but the maturity level of the group, there's a certain level of maturity that is in the group. There is a fixity of purpose and a determination that is in the group that is par excellence. And because of that, in the way in which we come up with a task or to assign a task, as Tashana was saying, it took us sometimes hours, literally hours. We're just there and we're just brainstorming until we have found a winnable formula, a formula that is going to give us an A. After that, I would say it's easy going. You get a task, you know you have to carry out the task. There is no question about you carrying out the task, and there is no whip on your back. It's just because of your maturity level, the fixity of purpose, and a determination to win. And so because of that, when we meet, yes, hours, and we're guilty of just spending hours just carrying out our task. But at the end of it, and sometimes we get a little frustrated, but at the end of it, we always succeed. And because of that, you have been doing that semester after semester after semester, you realize that we have a winning formula. And so we stuck to the task at hand.
So how did you deal with the frustrations? Because you just said that there were times when you were frustrated with the process, or frustrated with each other. What were you frustrated with, and how did you deal with that?
So it's group dynamics. So it's group dynamics. So sometimes it's an individual, sometimes it's the process, but because of the focus that we have, because of the focus allow us to overlook everything else that is happening, and we're looking forward to getting that A.
Okay.
And you will never know, Olivine, if you sit in cohort 21, you never know that Team Bless have issues. You'll never know. Even if we just have a little squabble before we go on to make a presentation or to submit a paper, you on the outside, you're not going to know.
Well,
Because
that was another question I have for further down,
Yes.
because I wanted to know what was your relationship with the wider cohort. What, did you bleed over into the wider cohort? How much did you cleave together, or did you, who crossed boundaries, that sort of thing? As you said, for instance, Cherise didn't do all the courses with you. She started out in the diploma program, so she had done
Right.
some courses before.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so she didn't do all the courses with you. So she would have been somebody who crossed your boundaries. How easy
Yeah.
was that for her? I suppose I should really ask her that. But how did you
Yeah.
guys make her a part of a team that had been established since day one? Because from what I'm hearing, you guys were not mixed up. Some years we mix up the groups. Your year,
Yeah.
apparently, we did not get around to that. So you guys remained with each other for 2 years. Because again,
Yes.
that is another thing I want you to think about for me. What would you recommend to the persons running the program about doing the teams, about constituting the teams and letting them stay, or do we change them per semester? Because that was actually the directive that we got from the early coordinators.
What I would say, because our team works so well, I would say that I would be led to say that let the team stay, because you get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses and so on. But we have also observed teams that fail miserably, right? And I'm thinking that those persons would want the opportunity to really change group. But really and truly, if it should be under, it's a very touch and go, because and I'm going to bring it down to the average team and success based on group. I would say that we had about 7 groups and less than 50% of each. So we have 7 groups and about 3 of them had great problems. And 4 was function fairly well together. So if I should look on that, I would say keep the group together. Because the good really outweigh. I think we had 8 and 5 did well and 3 we could see struggling a bit, some worse than the other. So I'll say keep the group together, because you get higher standard of work. You don't have to go through the whole forming, norming, storming. Sometimes you feel like you're just forming all over again or each semester, because that takes a lot out of you and it takes up time. So I'll say keep the group together.
Yeah, it makes the group more stable too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you don't want a stable, weak group, but you know what? I suppose I should, off the air,
Not
find out
necessarily
from you who you thought
truth is-
were struggling groups, and maybe I really should speak with them to find out what went wrong there. But yes, Jilly, you were saying something?
No, I'm saying the truth is both could work, because if we look at it from an organization's perspective, you may be working on different projects, so you'll be working with different persons, different personalities, and so on and so forth. So either could work, but because it worked for us for 2 years, naturally we'd want to recommend that. But for the weaker teams, you could probably think about getting a blend, or throughout the semester or the years the program is being done.
All right, Michelle, before I lose you, how did you guys avoid groupthink? How did you challenge each other's ideas and settle differences of opinion? How did you manage that in your group? Because you've mentioned it many times, you stormed many times. So how did you manage that?
And the good thing about our group is that for each project, we'll storm, we'll norm again. But what I realized with our group was that we had professionals in our group who knew their stuff.
Sorry, I was asking you to talk up a little bit, please.
Oh, are you hearing me now?
Yes,
Okay, so as I said earlier, we each project that we got, we went through the group dynamics. We stormed, we normed, we performed each time. But one of the things that was so good for us was that we were professional in how we went about our group work. And it is like we had the end in sight from we began. And as a result of that, we ensured that we were doing the things that needed to be done. One thing also was that everybody had an input. And it doesn't matter how small it was, and that prevented groupthink, because things would come up and we'd talk about it. And then we would say, okay, this can work, this cannot work. But at the end of the day,
Why?
it all went smooth. It all went smooth because, as I said, we had the end product inside and there was unity of purpose. And so that led us from start straight through to the end with good guidance from individual persons in the group. Because I don't know if it was said earlier, if you have not asked the question. For each of the projects, there was a different leader appointed for that specific project by our group leader, by Tasharna, our group leader. And so each person had a role to play where that was concerned. And I think you had asked something earlier about, I don't remember what the question was, but I was thinking about something and I remembered that we all got our assignments and we knew that sometimes Michelle's part depended on somebody else who was supposed to do something afterwards. So Marshall, that's me. Marshall had to ensure that he got his part up and running and very good, because we do not do a lot of editing. We ensure that these things are put on the Google Drive and we go on it and we do what we have to do to ensure that our product is a very good one in the end. Are you there?
yes, I am. Sorry about that. I was turning on the light. The light is
No
feeling
problem.
a little bit at my here.
Okay.
Yes, all right. So one of the things I wanted to know also was, how did you then prioritize? What I mean by that is that you were doing 3 courses at a time.
Yes,
So
and
you
so at
sometimes
one
had to
semester
juggle
we
3
had
different
2.
assignments.
Right.
How did you prioritize that?
Okay, so it all depended on the due date. So whichever one is due first, we put that on the front burner. And sometimes we have mid-semester exams, so we know how to get the appropriate things done for the time that was slated for these things to be put in. But it was always easy because UA has a system. We know when our mid modules are, and these lecturers always give us the projects and we know when they are due, and that was something good for UA. Sometimes the times and the dates were a bit close, but we always push each other to do the things that we needed to do.
So time management then was something that you guys did.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to say, Olamide, we don't want to sound perfect and all, because we laugh at ourselves all the time, that we are down to the wire kind of group.
Yes.
We are down to the wire. 5 minutes before submission time, that's us. I remember we were submitting our statistics. Our statistics assignment, and oh my God, we almost had an heart attack. I'm telling you, Olamide, because it was 5 minutes down to the time, and I think we had a little glitch, and everybody was in panic. When we saw it was like 1 minute. We had to spare
seconds to spare.
seconds. We had seconds to spare.
I see again, Olivine, and
So yeah,
that was something with our group because I think that part they did without me based on some duties that I had to perform, but the group is always performing. So when one person is down, somebody fills that gap, and we continue.
Yes, yes.
And
The,
there's a
the,
good
the, the
thing.
group is
There's,
as strong as its weakest link at that time.
yeah.
And
And there was a
something,
good,
as I've heard
there's a
somebody,
good strategy. There's a good strategy that was employed to Olivine
uh-huh.
is that we're always paired. So we are
Mhm.
paired in twos. And
Yes.
so you work in your, when you're working with your peer and
Yes.
you kind of keep each other accountable, you know, this is due when, and you start working on your assignment. And that helped the group because when you're doing your submission, it's two persons making a submission. And so you know that a good portion of the assignment is already done.
Mhm.
And the other group and the other pairs will also make their submission. And then we just put it together on our group leader who gave us Shana or Google Drive. So we could just
Yes.
upload our work and then we go on and do the editing, and Michelle will take care of the referencing and all of those fancy things. But at the end of the day, the work is
And
done.
Jasmine mentioned something to Olivine that worked for us. We all knew each other's strength rather. And so as a result of that, we know who will do what when the project comes. So we know that our group leader will conceptualize some things and send it out. We normally trust our judgment based on things that we did before. And so
Past
we say,
experience, past experience.
past experience, we're going with this. We know that if it is something to narrate, Jasmine will do it. If it is an act, Michelle and Pashik will do it. If it is debate, Jillian will do it. Understand? So we knew by probably the second semester how our group members were. And you know, they said that I was a little bit in their flesh when it comes down to referencing and something.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, that worked for us well.
Mhm. Okay. So
Another thing to Olivine is that as a group, we really valued each other and we valued each other's opinion. So whenever we are going through the assignments and so on, as we said before, we would always try to flesh it out, you know, brainstorm to get what each other is thinking. And then at the end of that group meeting, each individual would leave that meeting having an understanding of what they are supposed to be doing.
tell me something though.
Before you go to that, Olivine, this part that Jasmine just mentioned, I want you to note too that when she said that we worked in peer, it never meant that Marshall and Jasmine will always work together.
No.
Right.
It is Marshall and Jasmine, Marshall and Joan, Marshall and Tash. And so, you know, we felt each other's strength again when we went through that process.
What it just occurred to me. We've been talking a lot about your assignments, like group work assignments, that sort of thing. Did you study together? Did you just, even without having a deadline approaching, did you guys come to work together? Or did you study individually and only come together for the delivery of work to the unit, to the lecturers?
The ladies can speak on it more. I was more away based on what I had to do. So I studied alone most of the times, but the ladies probably studied together.
Ladies?
From time to time, I think a few times I studied with Jillian. We bounce ideas off each other, or if I'm not understanding a particular
Yes, we
topic,
did.
I'll reach out to Jillian, stuff like that. But apart from that, I really did study on my own.
Mhm. Okay, and the other
Or
ladies as well.
with other groups. So they will like form other groups from the class, and I'll sometimes find myself in that group from time to time studying.
Okay. And actual group meetings, as you say, it really was a matter of brainstorming, pairing off, and then deciding what you had to do, come back to the next meeting with the work delivered. or you didn't bother with that again? It was really after that, just working through Google Drive.
Oh, we continued with meeting just the
Yeah.
same.
We
Okay,
still
and
we
to see
continue.
where you've reached with
And
your
the
deliverable.
progress that, yes, and if anybody having any challenges, what is the challenges that you're facing and how can we address it? We ask you to raise your hand. Don't wait until last minute. We don't expect you to know everything, but speak up early. So we did have our weekly meetings or daily if we have to, based on the assignment. And I just want to mention this, and I always boast about it. I said, you know, I have a group member who live in Portland, and she has never missed a group meeting, because we will hear of other groups with people never yet have 100% of the members attending the meeting. Never, from year one all the way to the end of year 2. And I'm saying, oh my God, that's like crazy. But Joan, big up yourself.
That's all.
Yes.
All right.
Olivine,
we intermingled. Give me a minute there.
Go
We
ahead.
intervened. We intermingled Olivine with the other groups, and especially based on how we sat in class, because we had our group leader, I think, most times to the left front. I was to the right back, and we had some persons in the middle. So we were around the other group members, and we saw and felt things happening with them. You know, sometimes we encouraged, sometimes it worked out that they worked out what they had, the problems that they had. So we knew every single thing that was going on in the class.
Well, that was
In
a
our group,
question I'd asked earlier.
we were also in groups because we
In
never
ter-
segregated ourselves.
Sorry, I
No,
didn't
we
hear
didn't.
that. I didn't hear that.
I'm saying that we never segregated ourselves. We were also involved in their groups as well.
Okay.
Right.
So what I've heard so far is respect, flexibility, and strategy.
Yes.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
those are the values that you guys would have brought to the table.
Yes.
Cooperation,
Yes. Yes.
you know, that sort of thing. What else can you say?
I just want to go back to something, Olivine, in terms of studying. Joan and I did study. Joan and I studied a lot.
Yes.
Joan would normally refer to me as her partner. So we are partners. We sit beside each other in class, and we studied for exams. We bounced ideas off each other, and it worked beautifully for us. Joan?
Yes, that's correct, Olivine. And there were times when we would even review each other's work and, you know, give suggestions and so on as to how we can improve on the work that we are doing even before we submit. And yes, we did study together. There was one time when I traveled from Portland and I did an all-nighter in Kingston with Jasmine.
Yes.
Right, to study.
What?
I also studied with Jillian as well. And even when we were doing statistics, there were times when we had our Zoom meetings and we would go through questions and we would practice, you know, and yeah, we worked well together, you know, as a group, and we did do some studying together, and that helps.
Okay, that sounds so exciting.
And I also studied with other groups too, Olivine.
Okay.
Yes.
No, what I'm saying is that you actually make this group work sound exciting. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I was commenting on it. You were
Yes,
saying?
man, it is. It really is. It really is exciting.
Okay, it's like a little family. You formed a family within the class. But one of the things I was saying is that it struck me that you guys have nicknames for each other, and you know, there's a little giggling going on and that sort of thing. So it's obvious to me that you guys are friends. You became friends, even though this was a task group. It was meant to be a task group. You guys became friends, and you've remained friends. You've graduated, what, about a year now? So you've remained friends even after this year. So, you know, I'm thinking that's wonderful. That's really, really very nice. You're almost converting me into being somebody.
And our WhatsApp group, you know, we came here today based on what was placed in the WhatsApp group by the team leader, and that's why we're here.
Okay,
Yeah.
what was placed in the WhatsApp group? Because I need to be getting more people from the alumni to help me build the HRD program. I was saying it to Jasmine earlier that, you know, one of the things that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to build a strong HRD unit, and the alumni coming back to help me do that is something I need, because as you know, it's a very small unit, but a very strong unit, very proud. And that's because we've stood on the alumni helping us. As you know, some of them teach for us and they come back, and as you're doing here today, talk to us about the things that have worked and things that they could recommend for us that haven't worked. And that was actually my next meeting. Well, it's one of my next two questions. One, what advice do you have for the other groups of students coming up in the HRD suites of programs? It's not only for the MSc, we have a diploma, a postgrad diploma, we have a PhD in org behavior. What would you suggest to students coming up that they should do to get through these programs?
Repeat the question, Olivine.
Now, I was asking, what recommendations do you have for the groups? We said it earlier that group work is one of the foundations, one of the values that the program works on, the HRD unit. We believe that group work will be one of the strengths of organizations. If you can get the synergies from the various people, then you can build something stronger. So I'm asking you guys, what recommendations would you give to other students? And then my question after that would be, what recommendations would you give to the coordinating team? And I say team, but yes, what recommendations would you give to the coordinators for using groups in HRD teaching and in org behavior teaching at University of the West Indies? Because, you know, we want to influence organizational life. Does this model have any value for that?
Yeah. What I would say first, as it relates to starting the program and getting yourself in a group, first you have to know that it's a team-based program. You work within a team. They need to understand that. They need to come with the mindset to work. It is not easy. You have to put in the work in order to reach success. So, and I think the standard for the group has to be set. They also, the person leading the group must set a standard for high performance and no nonsense. We're going to get the work done, come what may. They have to set that high standard, or else if it's okay, everybody are their own big people and everybody is supposed to know to do them work and to deliver on time. No, not even in the organization. You still have people slacking off. So even in a school setting, you must set standard. You must have some form of structure and policy that you go by. And that is one of the things that allow us to be so successful within our group.
So you said structure and policy. You said a word there that I'm not sure I caught.
So like for policy, if you're not going to make a meeting for some reason, don't at last minute just say you're not going to make it or don't turn up. You have to communicate with us within a particular time or send in your work.
Okay, so you had norms of behavioral standards.
Norm. So yes, a norm, and yeah, I used to write in policy, so I think everything is policy for me and structure. So we operate on that. For the coordinators or the organization of the group, I think they should do some evaluation of the group, like for the first semester when groups are formed, yes, but at the end, I think they should be a little bit more involved in supporting the students who find themselves in group that is just not performing, to help them. Okay, then we need to restructure this group because it's not working. Because we saw where in the it got so bad, they almost come to a blow. It was face-by-face argument. I was like, oh my God, these people should never be in a group to get to this stage to come to that level. So I think I would love to see more involvement from the coordinators with the groups that are in need of that help.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I had two things in mind as recommendations
Mhm.
for the students. And the first one is respect. As a group member or persons in group, they must respect each other. And sometimes there are stig- stigmas attached to person's background and or where they work. And as a result of that, sometimes these persons within a group are treated a particular way, a negative way. And so sometimes the groups do not perform how they are to perform because of the lack of respect. So one of the main things involved in this is respect. The other thing is that for groups, no matter what, it doesn't matter if it seems like the time is long, as soon as the project is given out, start to work on it. Remember the timeline, remember the due date, and just know that it sounds long now, but when it is coming down to the time, you realize that there are other things that need to be done. For the coordinators, I was thinking about the same thing that Tash spoke about. Just for the coordinators to pay attention, a little bit more attention to the groups, even if they are not faltering. For example, our group, we never had any problem faltering.
Okay.
So but no one came to us and said, as a group, how are you performing? So this now is very good that we are talking about it after, but it would be good if during the process, the coordinator would come and say, whenever your group is meeting, I'd like to see you, because our grades, you have our grades, you have how we are performing. So and I use our group as an example, not just the group that is faltering. For our group, come and say, all right. And because sometimes these things are good, not because we're doing good. It's sometimes good to know that the persons who are coordinating see us, recognize us, and have interest. So that would be my thing for the coordination part.
For me, Olivine, I would say to the candidates to be, there is no I in team. You have to recognize that there is no I in team. When you become a part of a group, you're a part of the group. So what if the group fails, then you fail individually. If the group succeeds, then you succeed as a group. So that's a basic understanding. Understand also that is group dynamics. So you will form, you will storm, but I encourage them to also perform. And the third thing I would say to them is leave your ego at Yui's gate, the entrance. Just leave your ego there. There's no place for ego when you come into being a part of a group. You have to let all thoughts, all contending thoughts and thinking be heard to come up with workable solutions. Recommendation for the coordinators would be, yes, we did group dynamics, and it was new for some of us. Some of us had some footing in that, but to just leave us to just figure it out on our own. We don't know these people, they are new. Just to have some intervention, and I'm going with what Michelle is saying, yes, have some intervention at regular intervals, just to check in and to find out how the groups are doing, and be flexible enough as coordinators. If a group is not working, then intervene, get Mrs. Morgan, or some other group dynamics person to come and have a little one-on-one session with the group that is having the challenges. It could be that it's simple things that needs to be fixed, but you can't fix, they probably can't fix it as a group. So they need an independent person to come in. So I would say just don't leave the groups to just go figure out the group dynamics and everything else. Have some intervention, find out like how you're finding out from us now, but let it be more when they're in the program. when they're in the program, whether it's the end of each semester or the end of each year, but just have a look at it, assess it, and be fluid enough that if changes are to be made, then make the changes. But first, have an intervention. Group like us that are actually working and have worked, allow the group to continue.
All right. Well, yes. Yes, I'm not defending anything, but we have intervened. Miss Morgan has intervened where we are aware. But maybe we need to make people know that we want to be aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have done it. We have had her meet with groups to try to solve problems. You know, maybe somebody will say, I'm being scapegoated by the whole group. And we intervene there where we are aware it is happening. One of the things I want to ask you guys, though, you didn't have this problem, but maybe you have ideas about it. What if there is collusion? So somebody is not performing and the rest of the group colludes to hide that fact. Because again, we have had that, which is another problem that could come up in groups. You guys have become friends. We don't want to graduate people who don't know HR when they leave us. But the group contrives to hide the fact that somebody doesn't know or hasn't been coming to class or something like that. And they seek to deceive the lecturers. How would you recommend we deal with something like that? Because again, that group is strong but dysfunctional. So how would you suggest we do, what would you suggest we do about that? And I should let you know, we're actually dealing with our group with something like that right now. So,
Okay. All right. So it's Olivine, I would say, what is causing the person not to deliver? Was the person delivering before and now they are not? What is it that they are going through? Because as we mentioned before, Olivine, we know our group members, they work, but we do have times when a member is going through something and we have to say, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and rework some stuff just to ensure that the member can participate and contribute. Or for that, we will show sympathy then and empathy. So what is causing that? If it's just a lack of interest, just deciding not to participate because, oh, my friend is strong and she's going to do it for me or he's going to do it for me, and I get to be scotch-free and not do anything, then I don't agree with that. I really and truly don't. And that person should be penalized for that. But if the person is having a personal challenge, then I would say give that person
benefit of the doubt.
yeah, give that person some kind of leeway or take it easy on them. But if it's the other way around, no tolerance for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jillian, you wanted to say something? No? Okay. Now notice that we lost your image.
Sorry, I'm here. Sorry about that. I was just thinking that, and probably if I write down what Tashana said, the truth is we need to hold each person accountable, because if you're tasked with something to do, you must deliver. But even if you look at it in the workspace, because if I give an experience from work, somebody may come at work and they're not performing, and they used to perform before. What I have to do is kind of engage the person to find out what's happening in the person's life. And based on that, I may say, okay, I recommend this, I recommend that you can do this or you can do that. So we have to look at the situation at hand, but we still need to hold each person accountable. And persons need to understand that, as Tashana mentioned earlier, that whatever I do, or somebody else in the group do, it impacts something else that is done. And as Michelle said, your part is dependent on somebody else's part. So if it is that you do not do that which is to be done, then it's going to have an impact. I never ever believe in ascribing something to somebody that they have not attained. We should work for something, and we get that honor. So I mean, you guys have to look at how it is that you can I know we usually do the peer review, but that could also be a problem because persons don't always evaluate persons the right way. But this is a part of the thing that I said to my team at work. If it is that there is a problem amongst the team, and I, for example, I have a problem with Tasharna. If I go to Joan and say to Joan, I have a problem with Tasha, or I say to Jasmine or Michelle, but I have not gone to the source of the problem, then it's not going to help the situation. So we need to get to the place where persons learn to be honest and open and make themselves vulnerable and say, okay, I'm having this challenge, this is my situation, and we take it from there and we create an opportunity for restitution, reconciliation, and so many other things.
Wonderful, well said.
Just to add to what my team members have said, Olivier, is that even from a teacher's perspective, and I would come across many of these situations many times, even with my own students. So having that intervention is very important. So there are times when persons may be placed in a group and they are having some challenges. They may not disclose the challenges that they are having with their team members. But if you intervene as a teacher or as the coordinator, then you will get an understanding of what is happening. So that intervention is very important. So from the coordinator perspective for the program, or even from the lecturer's perspective to find out, what is happening within the groups, then a difference can be made. And just by having that discussion, it could make a world of difference, and you would realize that the group comes together and then they start performing and, working together as a group.
Okay, well, yes, somebody was saying something? Because, all right, one of the things that I was thinking is that this video, this discussion that we're having here, as I told you guys, I wanted to put it on Caribbean HRD TV. I want it to be a resource for the other students coming up. So I'll be doing, but I'm also going to show the lecturers. And of course, I have taken on board that the coordinators need to have a more integral part. We don't have to do weekly, but we should check in more often than we've been doing. So I've taken that on board personally, and I'm going to show the lecturers as well, because I think this has been such a valuable conversation. And this is certainly, I regard it as a gift from Cohort 21, or from this group of students from MSc HRD Cohort 21 to the HRD program, to future cohorts of HRD students and all the rest of it. And we're working with Cohort 24 now, so you may just have you may just have graduated last year, but time and the program does march on. Cohort 24 is with us. They're what? This is about week 5, week 6. We're going to week 6 now with them. Wow. And so I wanted this so that we got it to them from early. I don't want them to be far down the wicket and getting it wrong, because as you know, they also have the challenge of them being fully online right now because of the COVID pandemic. So I thank you guys so much. This is Sunday, it's now evening. We started out over an hour ago, and you guys have been generous in giving your time back to the unit and in sharing your views in a very candid way with us. And I'm so grateful to you all. And of course, blessings, group blessed.
Blessed.
Just one thing before you go, Olivine, just one thing before you go, I just want to say a big thank you to you, Olivine, because OMT, we don't call you Olivine, we call you OMT. You are doing such an amazing job, really. You're so easy to talk to, so I will encourage the other members, Cohort 24, 23, and upcoming 25 all the way to infinity. Just reach out to Olivine. If you have any challenges, they should reach out to you. They should raise their hands, and you will definitely help them.
I'll try.
Yeah, you will help them. But we are appreciative of you, Olivine, and thank you.
Okay, thank you too for saying that.
Here.
Thank you so much.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
It
You have been good.
No, well, no, but I care about the students. I really do, I really care about the students. They're my
It
family,
shows.
they're my babies, yeah, I really care about the students. So thank you guys. I'm really proud of all of you, and a round of applause to all of you. And of course, I wish you all stellar careers. Okay, so
Thank
walk
you.
good.
Thank you
And so
very much.
yeah,
Thank you so
walk
much.
good, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Team
Bye.
Bless, for
Bye.
coming out.
Thank you very
Yes,
much. Thank
yes.
you. Nice
Bye.
seeing you
Bye.
all, my team members.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
night to you all.